Support for this program is provided by Roy O. Martin. Based in Alexandria, wood products company Roy O. Martin is proud to fulfill our founder's legacy in supporting the social, educational, and cultural needs of our local communities. Learn more at royomartin.com. The Louisiana Lottery is proud to join LPB in honoring Louisiana legends. Contributing over $4 billion for K-12 public education, the lottery is giving Louisiana a reason to smile. And by Willis-Knighton Health System, caring for our patients and communities for 97 years, with technologies for health and wellness, heart, cancer, orthopedics, birthing, and more. Willis-Knighton, always here. And by Acadian Companies and Acadian Ambulance Service, celebrating 50 years of saving and protecting lives in Louisiana. Information at acadian.com. With additional support from the Doré Family Foundation Fund, Scotty Moran, and Richard and Elaine Zuschlag.
Hi, I'm John Dennison, and welcome to Louisiana Legends. I'm sitting down today with a legend who has a long career of public service and whose story you'll definitely want to hear. We'll sit down with Terry Landry in just a moment after we watch his biography.
What stands out in my mind when I think of Terry Landry is his commitment and his drive for those who are in need in the state of Louisiana. He loves to help, he loves to give. It's part of his DNA.
A remarkable man who rose from humble beginnings, a natural-born leader, a Vietnam veteran, and the first African American to serve as Superintendent of Louisiana State Police. These are just a few of the accolades for former state representative and New Iberia native Terry C. Landry Sr. He is the 8th child of 9, born to the late Linus and Agnes Chapman Landry.
He was a lot like my mother and father, a lot like my mother and father. Always doing things for people. He had favorite adults in the community, and he was always doing something for them.
As a young boy, Terry often played the game of cops and robbers with his friends.
Terry always liked that game, but Terry was always the cop. The others were the robbers. He brought them for justice. That's one thing, right and wrong. I've always seen that in him. I can remember in high school, that was during the beginning of integration. The principal would go to get him to come and help him to solve some of the problems between the races, really.
After graduating from New Iberia Senior High, Terry joined the Army and served honorably for 3 years before returning home. He became an officer with the local police department before leaving to work for Shell Oil Company. In 1975, Terry married the love of his life, Sharon Broussard, and they raised 3 beautiful children. But his desire to be a police officer never left him, and in 1978, Terry entered the Louisiana State Police Academy. He served in many positions: patrol trooper, detective sergeant, chief of staff, commander of the crime lab, and more. He continued his training at the LSU Police Executive Institute and the FBI Academy. By 1997, Terry was promoted to lieutenant colonel, and in 2000, Governor Mike Foster appointed him as Superintendent of Louisiana State Police. Throughout his years of service, Terry saw the need to help at-risk young people. Along with another New Iberia native and businessman, William Doré, he started the Louisiana State Police Foundation to address the needs of underserved youth.
He loved these young people. He saw things in them that maybe parents didn't see. Terry mentioned to me about his chartering of a summer camp. And his mission would take kids throughout the state of Louisiana and would come to his camp and be mentored by state troopers. They worked very, very well. And to this day, thousands of kids have gone through Terry Landry's camp I say that because it is a Louisiana State Trooper Foundation camp, but to me, it is Terry Landry's camp.
In November 2011, Terry was elected to the Louisiana House of Representatives and became the first to serve Iberia, Lafayette, and St. Martin parishes in the newly created House District 96. He was a staunch advocate for public education, affordable health care, Medicaid expansion, responsible gun control, and prison reform.
I've seen him go from a trooper into the legislature as a desire to improve the state, not for personal gain.
Although Terry no longer serves as an elected official, he continues living his passion by remaining engaged in community services for underserved citizens.
He's very sensitive to the needs of people, and particularly, I think, poor people, people who may not have the ability to necessarily articulate the problems and the challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes he becomes the voice of the voiceless.
Terry's wife, Sharon Broussard Landry, lost a courageous 10-year battle with cancer. In their 44 years of marriage, she was devoted to and supported Terry in all of his career endeavors. Along with their 3 children, the Landrys have 5 grandchildren.
I think he's had dreams from young, dreams that we may not have understood as we were growing up, but dreams that I think he has fulfilled in many ways. And that dream was be a significant service to other people.
Terry, it's good to sit down with you. And before we get to sort of where we are through your career, we always have to go back and see, where did you get started? Tell us what your childhood was like growing up.
Wow, I'm 8th of 9 kids. My parents were blue-collar people. Mother, high school diploma, daddy, 3rd grade education, but understood the value of a good education and understood that it does take a village to raise a child. My older sibling helped raise me. My younger brother is 3 years younger than me. And I had we were poor, but I didn't know we were poor until I grew up. But what we did have, we had love, and we had food, and we had a network that is invaluable. I had a great parents, had great siblings, and for that's the foundation of who I am today.
It's a childhood of all your needs met.
Exactly.
You didn't know better.
That's exactly right.
And you've lived a life of duty towards the common good. Where do you think that drive in you comes from?
Well, the drive definitely came from my parents. I say I'm the 8th of 9 kids. There were older people in our community, in our neighborhood, that didn't have children. My mother used to learn us out to go and help the neighbors with chores, putting Johnson wax on floors by hand, helping people with chores in their yard. My parents taught us that helping people and not expecting anything in return other than doing good for your fellow man, that's the foundation of who my parents were.
They instilled those values in you that you instilled in so many others through your years of public service.
Well, I hope that it transcended into me helping and helping the community and trying to make the community that I live in, this great state of Louisiana, a better place and a better quality of life for people who are unfortunate. There are some people who don't have the opportunities, didn't have the family network that I had. That should make them no less important, no less critical, or treated any different than any other family. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention my father was a practicing Catholic. My mother was a strong Southern Baptist person. They lived their life according to their religion. So doing for others, treating your brethren who are less fortunate than you is just part of our DNA.
Some of the less fortunate in our state, unfortunately, have been incarcerated. In fact, Louisiana has had one of the highest, if not the highest, incarceration rates in the country. Now, as State Police Superintendent, you tackled that problem. Tell me what motivated you, and how did you approach trying to work on that high incarceration rate?
Well, we knew that this state is better than the statistics. It's better than this over-incarceration. It's better than the reputation, in many cases, that the stigma that's associated because we have such a high incarceration rate. But I came to understand that it's not a crime being poor. And you shouldn't be incarcerated for being poor or not having. You shouldn't be incarcerated for having a mental illness. And in many instances, our jails have become our mental hospitals. In many instances, people do what they have to do in order to survive. I'm not condoning, I never did condone anyone that break the law, smoking marijuana. We have a lot of laws on this books in this state that are today turning out to be laws and that are going to be accepted. Marijuana possession. There are many people who went to jail for nonviolent, non-sexual crimes and did a significant amount of time for it. I think and did believe then and do believe now we need to focus on the violent crimes and treat the mental health or the mental ill as mental health patients.
And while we're on that tact, you've found some strategies that work in the rehabilitation of criminals, and so can you tell us some of those programs that you worked on over the years?
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you're doing the same thing and getting the same results, you need to try something else. There are communities throughout this country, matter of fact, throughout the world, that are doing new and innovative things, recognizing the problem and not the symptoms. Recognizing that when you make cuts, especially in Louisiana, when the budget is tough, and it's two places you can cut. You can cut higher ed or you cut health care. And it's usually mental health. And we allow people now to self-medicate. We use the honor system, and people are sick and they fall off their medication. And we have to do better than incarcerating people that we don't understand or people who have an illness. I was fortunate to serve in the legislature, to be a part of the criminal justice reform package where the Pew Institute provided data on top of data about how we would go heading in the wrong direction in our criminal justice. And as a result of that, we were able to pass 17 pieces of legislation that are significant and has dropped the incarceration rate in this state significantly. We're no longer the #1 incarcerated. We're still not where we should be or we ought to be, but we're working on it, and you have to work on it every day.
Every day of your state police career, certainly. And you're still involved, I know, in oversight through the legislature as probably a member of a committee or certainly someone who can testify with your professional background. That's a long time of seeing bad things happen and seeing crimes and seeing things that can get you down. You must have some strategy for keeping yourself going at those times when you just sometimes want to throw up your hands and go, I don't think I want to see this anymore. How did you get through it?
Well, it's very, very difficult, but you have to have, I believe, a strong religious faith. You have to rely on your faith, and you have to realize that things didn't get this bad overnight, and you're not going to change them overnight. You have to be patient, you have to be vigilant, but I think you also have to be faithful, and you have to be faithful to the Word and to what the Scripture tells us. If we practice religion, whatever religion, I think you have to focus on people and not so much result. If you save one soul, then I think you've done a lot. Certainly we have to save a lot more, but we have to be vigilant and be faithful, resilient, and we are a people. We have hurricanes, we build back. We have tornadoes, we build back. We have to continue to invest in people and not institutions and not programs, but invest in people.
You broke ground as the first African American superintendent of Louisiana State Police. Tell us what that was like, any challenges that you may have had, or any difficulties that you may have had and in that role as someone who broke that ground.
You know, I got appointed by Governor Mike Foster. Mike Foster was a Republican governor in his second term. There was no political advantage of him appointing the first African American to head the state police. When I was appointed, Mike Foster gave me some clear instructions. Do the right thing. That's all he asked of me, is to do the right thing and support the initiative for this great state. Mike Foster's legacy is really unbelievable when people start looking at this man. He gave me not only the responsibility to run state police, but he gave me the authority to run it. No interference from politicians, no interference from cabinet people or staffers. He gave me the authority and the responsibility. And that is significant. As overwhelming as it was, I realized that I was not only carrying this burden, being the first African American, I wasn't only carrying it for me and my family, but I was carrying it for a community. And I could tell you, I got embraced by people from all walks of life, from all race, from all ethnic background. I was embraced because people were proud to say that Louisiana had moved into the 21st century, and the stigma about a person that looked like me could not reach that level of authority. Today, I'm still astonished at being appointed as Superintendent of State Police.
Thinking back over the years, can you think of one big obstacle that you had to overcome, really big, that maybe you didn't think you could at first, but you were able to? And if so, how did you overcome it?
I really don't know of any obstacles that, if anything, it was finances and monies. And in the current budget, we were getting 10% cuts here and there, trying to balance the budget. Louisiana has a mandatory balanced budget. And when the budget is out of whack, you have to make adjustments. When I started with state police, we were 700-800 troopers, and we had the manpower, but we didn't have all the responsibilities of gaming, motor carrier safety, hazmat, all those duties and unfunded mandated became a little strain on our manpower. We did some manpower allocation studies and showed that state police, according to their duties and responsibilities and their per capita of this state, we should have had about 1,500 troopers. We were able to get a significant pay raise, the largest in state police history when we were there, 42% pay increase. But we were never able to have the legislature fully understand the manpower allocation based on what our duties and responsibility. I often regret that, or think about how I could have done a better job to articulate that to the legislators.
Well, looking back over your life and work, both in legislature and state police and other areas of your life, what are you most proud of? What really sticks out?
That's a tough one. I can say a lot. I'm proud of the woman that I married, my wife, the mother of my 3 children. I'm proud of my children. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of the state that I live in. There are just so many things that it's hard to come with one significance accomplishment, because I always believed that it really wasn't about me, but it was about us as a people. And so it's very, very difficult to come up with one individual accomplishment, acknowledgement that I'm most proud of. I'm proud of a lot of things that we as a people in this great state accomplish, rather than what Terry Landry accomplished.
I like how you, too, have taken a cue from, and we saw him in your biography, Bill Doré, about reaching out and putting coalitions together, asking for help. And, you know, could you tell us a little bit about your friendship with him? And Tell me how much he means to you.
Bill Dore is a person that I met on the side of the interstate. And I'm not sure.
Did you give him a ticket when you were a trooper? Is that it?
Well, we came very close. We came very close. But long story short, I met Bill on the side of the road, and we had a conversation, and it was a conversation about my reason for stopping him. And obviously, I left some impression on him, and he stayed in contact with me. And when I got appointed Superintendent of State Police, he wanted to know what did I need to help me succeed, not only in as a state police commander, but how we can work together to make our community a better community, investing in people. And I had a idea about a program I wanted to start for underprivileged kids who are not exposed to positive role models, kids who have parents that are incarcerated, kids that had not been exposed to anything other than something bad in their lives. And Bill, along with myself and staff, started State Police Foundation, and he gave me the initial seed money to start it. Not only did he give me the seed money, he brought other corporate business people to serve on the board. And today we've reached countless of people and brought those kids out to a camp where the troopers mentor them, teach them things that most people take for granted. How to eat with a fork and a knife, how to tie a necktie. Some of the things that these troopers have taught these young kids are lifelong. They take them for the rest of their lives. And I've had people come up to me, you don't remember me, but I was in the Camp Winterfriend camp when you were the superintendent. Those things mean a lot.
That's very fulfilling to have.
Oh,
them
very
come up to you
fulfilling.
like that.
And Bill Dore played a significant part of that. And still today, he plays a role in it. He's just a man that gives, and he gives with no expectation other than it satisfied the purpose that he's giving.
I hope a lot of our audience will see you and see the example that Bill has for leadership and take some cues, because we need the leaders of tomorrow to be leading like you men have been leading.
We're in this together. I don't care where you live. You can live in a gated community. You can live in a high rise. You can live in a rundown neighborhood. But we're all in this together.
You've had many successes over life. What do you think, is there any one key to success?
I think faith, as I said earlier, believing in people. Colin Powell was one of my heroes. And one of his 10 rules was don't let your ego get bigger than your position. And I think sometimes we take ourselves too serious. And I never tried to take myself too serious, and I never tried to make it about me. But I tried to understand, if we have a disagreement, it doesn't make me a bad person, doesn't make you a bad person. We just disagree. And so I try to judge people on not on our disagreement, but with the things that we have in common.
Do you think we've lost the fine art of compromise, particularly in politics?
We've lost a lot of things.
Tell me about that.
We've lost a lot of things. We've lost the art of compromise. We are so polarized as a country and as a people. In 1978, as a young trooper, I worked around the legislature working in security. I saw the legislators, the Bo Ackles, the Almond Brinkhouses, the Don Cravens. I saw those people disagree. I mean, have really hard debate on the floor, but they were able to go into a room and talk about their differences and make compromise and put the people first rather than the party politics. We've got to go back to the basics. We've got to go back to understanding that we all are different, and that we all sometimes have different upbringings and different value systems. Again, because we disagree doesn't make you a bad person and doesn't make me a bad person.
It's our differences.
That's exactly. That's what makes us great.
That make us good people.
That's
and
right.
People worth talking to each other.
That's right.
Is there anything, looking back in your life, you think, I should have done that differently, that you had second thoughts about?
You know, I haven't talked a lot about my wife. My wife and I were married for 46 years. I had a very interesting career where I worked a lot away from home. I took a lot of assignments that left her here with my 3 children. She never once asked the question, what about us? It was always what's good for the family. And she really was the wind beneath my wings. She really helped me sail, because when your spouse is happy, you're happy. Happy wife makes a happy life. I just wish she was here to enjoy some of the fruits of our labor, because she was an equal partner in everything that I succeeded in during my career as a legislator and as a state policeman.
And you both have the legacy of your children.
We have the children
Yes.
and grandchildren, and hopefully they'll look back one day and be inspired by something that we did right and learn from the things that we did wrong.
What do you want to tell the next generation of police officers?
I want to tell the next generation of police officers, your job is difficult. It is very difficult. But don't be afraid to get out of those cars, those SUVs, those air-conditioned vehicles, and go meet your constituents. Go stop and check on an old person, or go talk to a person in the community. Go visit people when there is not a time of crisis. Go to a school if you have children and eat with your children while you're in uniform. And let them see something positive, and let them know that you're not the enemy.
Finally, Terry, what does the next chapter of your life look like?
The next chapter of my life is in God's hand for the most part. But where I can contribute, I'll contribute. Where people call and ask me to help, I will help. Where I can make a positive influence, I'll do that. But right now, I'm just enjoying life and enjoying being able to give back where people called on me to do that, and just continually trying to make people's quality of life as good as it possibly can be.
Terry Landry, 2021 Louisiana Legend. I thank you very much, sir. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you, and this pleasure is mine.
And thank you all very much for watching.
For a copy of this program, call 1-800-973-7246 or go online to www.lpb.org.